Hey folks, today I'm going to reveal something to you of which many of you might not be aware. But here's the truth. Living in a wheelchair gives one a superpower. You may have thought that Professor Charles Xavier of the X-Men was the only one in a wheelchair with extraordinary abilities, but you'd be wrong. Ever since I was a child, my wheelchair has granted me one amazing gift: the power to obtain free stuff. You see, in regular humans, guilt is an extremely powerful emotion, and something about seeing someone in a wheelchair taps into that so directly that when people are confronted with it, they simply don't know what to do. And the first thing they can think to try is to make it better by providing free things to the person in the chair. Admittedly, this doesn't happen as often as it used to, but that's probably because I'm not so cute and wholesome looking as I once was. To this day though, when I'm out in public, every now and again a stranger will walk up to me and try to give me something. Usually it's food, but sometimes it's something more expensive than that. More commonly, people will see me waiting for something and offer to let me skip ahead in a line. Now, while I've jokingly referred to this phenomenon as a superpower, it's definitely not something I actively use, because I believe that it is morally wrong to use people's guilt against them in order to manipulate them into doing something that you want. Sadly, there are many people in the world today who approach the world from the exact opposite direction. And herein lies my problem with so-called disability activists. 4 or 5 years ago, I was a contributor for a large disability website, which I won't name for fear of backlash, but it was really cool when I first started submitting articles to it, because real people with real disabilities were being honest and open about the struggles that they faced in everyday life. But over time, things began to change. The editorial staff was replaced by a new team, and slowly but surely, the site went from dealing with real issues and trying to come up with practical solutions to everyday problems to people simply going there to whine about one thing or another that offended them. And it began to feed into the outrage culture that is so common today. A side effect of this kind of activism, and trust me, I use that term loosely, is that it sets up the false notion that people with disabilities are a protected class who are above criticism and constructive dialogue. Allow me to be perfectly clear about something. I am completely in favor of people who point out legitimate issues in society in order to give people with disabilities a greater opportunity to lead more meaningful lives. Where my support ends, however, is when people are obviously using the guilt of others to turn them into pitiful, cowering servants. What I'm talking about is the mentality held by many activists today, which believe that instead of having to work to earn one's place in the world, the established order should be entirely overthrown in order to meet their subjective wants and desires. The qualitative downfall of this website is what gave rise to what you might call my red pill moment. The final straw came when the editorial staff started trying to dictate to me what I could and could not say about my own disability and how my views should be expressed. Of course, any website has the right to dictate editorial policy as its staff see fit. However, that does not mean that I have to be a party to it. Free expression, as messy and unrefined as it sometimes is fundamentally important to true, meaningful engagement with the world. If you are forced into a situation where you have to constantly monitor yourself and censor the things that you think and say in order to avoid offending someone's delicate sensibilities, then you probably shouldn't even bother to speak at all, because nothing you say will carry any truth. Also, I have absolutely no desire to be part of a protected class. In much the same way that feminists and other acolytes of social justice ideology will use the horribly mischaracterized term of privilege to shut down any rational debate, disability activists have latched onto the term ableism to describe a deeply misanthropic worldview which holds that anyone without a disability must automatically have been socialized to hate and distrust those with one. As with so much of social justice rhetoric, it has been my experience that this view of disability and how ordinary people interact with it is not borne out by reality. Yes, in my life I have indeed faced several instances of willful discrimination, but these are far outnumbered by the times that ordinary people have showed me nothing but kindness and respect. I believe that these activists fail to see that if you spend your life behaving like an entitled, spoiled aristocrat, then that is how people will treat you. As much as some among us would like to believe that it's possible, the basic principles of human interaction do not change. If you want to get respect, you first have to be willing to give it. Finally, I'd just like to say that the kind of activist I've referred to throughout the course of this video does not speak for me in any way. I did not ask to be represented by these people, and I would not associate with them even if you paid me. But on that note, if you do enjoy my content and would like to support me, you can do so on a monthly basis via Patreon, where I have several tiers of support available. For those of you who enjoy what I do but can't commit to a monthly show of support, I welcome any and all once-off donations via PayPal. For now, farewell.